What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby. And we back. This week's episode is going to be covering AEW's WrestleDream out in St. Louis. But before we get into that, time for the intros. I go by Jay, a.k.a. The Lonely One, a.k.a. Podbreaker, Podson Reed, Pod Will, Jacob Friedman, because I pod better than you know it. Misrespect the jumpers in the building, ladies and gentlemen. And we're back with the trios. This is episode 2 where, we're all here and it feels great. But you know what time it is. It's time to pass it off to the man with the 4 letters, 1 word. Mr. H, go ahead, take it away from here.
He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. And that's not just me saying it. Everyone's saying it. Glizzy, edaglizzy.com is saying it. His name is 4 letters, 1 word, but Black Dynamite. I sell drugs to the community. Hero, and I am he, and I am glad to be back.
Black Dynamite. I sell drugs in the community. What's happening? What it do, people? It's your boy, the third Mike, DT, a.k.a. the OTC of the Monday Night Wave, a.k.a. the Oracle. Yeah, I'm taking my name back. Fuck these niggas. How's it going? Let's do it!
All right, before we get into the actual nitty-gritty of the pay-per-view, some news segments here. I think the first one here is the biggest one that, was kind of taking the whole IWC by storm with, workers' rights and whatnot. Andrade is pulled from AEW due to a cease and desist being sent out. Apparently, I guess the backstory here is that inside his contract, if you were fired, you were off-screen TV for a year. And a year with no pay. Now, initially, I'm sitting here like, okay, well, a year is kind of fucking crazy. 90 days, it makes sense. That's the standard, right? All right, cool, whatever. But a year and no pay seems a little suspect to me. That being said, it led to no mention of Andrade on AEW, which makes sense because I think when he had debuted, I think last pod we were talking about, like, nobody mentioned him. Like, what the hell happened? Like, we also seen that his indie dates in Mexico had also got pulled, so he couldn't do those either. And this kind of like starts to add up a little bit here. Now, do I think a year without pay is fair? Absolutely fucking not. But I do think that, like, hey, if you got a 90 day, you gotta sit. Like I said, year, just don't sit right with me. I'm gonna pass it off to the panel before I say my closing statements. So, what we got?
So, yeah, to my knowledge, it would only be a year if he did break the said contract, which he technically did, which is why they got the cease and desist. And they would have to go to court for that, which I don't know if WWE wants to spend time doing it. Like, obviously, they got the money to do it, like to go with the lawyers or whatnot, but I don't think they want to do that. So I think it's just going to be 90 days. And granted, like, he had a 90-day clause based on the way that he was fired because he failed multiple wellness policies, allegedly. I don't think that's alleged anymore, but according to the stuff, he failed multiple wellness policies, which is why they let him go. And
Alleged.
Yeah,
we ain't trying to be sued. Alleged.
Yeah. Alleged. And then, and within that contract, it still said a 90-day. At the end of the day, I don't see how this could not be like. I think how about this? I think all 3 parties have some fault, but I think Andrade has the biggest fault, and I don't understand the narrative that was going on in the internet. Like, whether he or his agent did read his contract, there was also a due diligence in AEW that their lawyers should have seen. I don't think WWE is going to be petty, but they fired him, in their opinion, with just cause. He shows up a couple weeks later, like everything's all sweet, and then he disappears. And I think both those parties should have just did their due diligence. Andrade specifically, because he's the one that's running around. Like, to me, he's running around messy. Like, even when he left AEW to join WWE just a half a year ago or a year ago, that was a mess. So for me, if I'm let's say I'm New Japan or something, I'm looking at him like, do I want this dude either? Like, because I'm looking at the way he's playing patty cake with both these companies, and I don't know. I didn't personally like the narrative, and I'm not trying to stick up for no damn billionaire dollar company. That's the last thing I want to do. But the narrative that that Fed is bad when homie didn't have a. I mean, according to Fightful, he has a really good lawyer. So how that really good lawyer didn't read the easy thing that Fightful found the part of the contract and took a picture of it. So the fact that his really good lawyer allegedly couldn't read that, and then AEW's lawyers didn't see that is, uh, it's just one of those things. They just got to do your due diligence. It was a fun news story. It was a good news story, but now it's out of the news cycle, so it is what it is. But that's my take.
DT.
Grand opening, grand closing. Just sit your 72 days down. He'll pop back up again in Don Callis. He'll be moving.
What I don't know, and this because we're not in the business, I have no idea. But like, do you think AEW looks at the WWE contracts, or you think that's solely what the agent's supposed to be for? Because I don't think that AEW would have a WWE contract sent to them and they would look that over. I think that you're kind of going off like, hey, what does your agent say? Is your agent giving you the go-to? Can we move forward? Let's do that. I don't know if that's like in their wheelhouse to kind of vet and check everybody's contract. Like, if you tell me that you're good to go, okay, you're good to go. Be a fucking adult and like, make sure your contract is straight before we put you on TV. I just think the nature of which Andrade got fired was also unheard of too, right? We've seen people get waived, released, right? But never like fired. We never had this. We never knew that there was a year contract, and that was added. Apparently, that's a new TKO thing as well. Is that we never knew that there was a year, added to like people's contracts if they got fired. I think it's a very odd situation. I do agree with DT to where like it hopefully it's probably just the 90, but nobody needs to be fucking battling Andrade for a year. Like it's not worth the effort or money to do that,
No.
and or time. Like, let's just sit him down for the 90 and let's get this over with. I do want to call out people for being fickle, though. I think there's two parts of the coin here. When it was the Guantanamo Bay and, Ray Phoenix was like, oh, I'm treated unhumanely, right? It was like, okay, now niggas is going fucking crazy. But when a nigga's not getting paid for a year, it's hush money. And I don't think that should be the case at all. I think, if you are going to sit down for a year, get paid. You have to be paid for this. There's no such thing as like being under contract and fired and not being paid. The dude has to provide for his family. Like that's just.
I think it's only a year if they took him to court. Originally, it's supposed to be a 90-day. But if he continued to do what he's doing, then I think that's when they could make it go for a year.
If it is a year, I just say he should be paid for it. I think that's the fair thing with that. If it's a year, sit him down, he gets paid. But it was a lot of lawyers popped out. A lot of niggas put on they hats and wanted to, go through contracts and shit like that. And it's like, it's not that, bro. This is wrestling. We got shit to do. AEW got shit to do. Let's just figure this shit out. Sit down and we'll be good to go. Getting out of that, injury bug has hit the wrestling world pretty hard recently, right? We've seen that, and it's also changed plans for pay-per-views and whatnot. We've seen that Kota Ibushi got injured, and he looked like he broke his femur, was it?
Yes, that is correct.
That he broke his femur, which is crazy. Definitely could edit that out. So he broke his femur. He says he's out 2 years. Says it's going to take 1 year to recover, another year for him to get back in ring shape. So I just want to send, thoughts and prayers to Ibushi. Very weird freak accident like spot. I wouldn't call Josh Alexander unsafe. I don't think that's fair enough to say that. I think that it was just a weird like setup for that. Rhea Ripley broke her nose on the Japanese tour. So she's dealing with the broken nose spot. Fatu is going to be out for a little bit, so that kind of like also takes away our War Games prediction of Jacob being in that. So we'll see how that changes up, especially with Survivor Series on the way. And the big one this week was Seth freaking Rollins. Looks like Seth has injured his shoulder. Apparently, it was on the diving headbutt spot. Once again, how much you gotta hate a nigga to do that spot?
You have to fuck your arm up again.
This is a bigger one though because there's so much tied to it. We saw that this Monday on Raw, the turn of the Vision turning on Seth. a lot of people, a lot of fans that I saw was like, damn, this is really premature. Like, not premature, but like really quick. It happened really
It
fast.
was early. Yeah.
And so that kind of lets me wonder, like, damn, if they're doing it this early, this must be a pretty like significant kind of like injury, right? Normally, Seth is like he'll sit down for like 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and he'll pop back up and be fine. But this one's like, in order to follow through with this portion of the story, Seth Rollins may be out for a minute, especially come hearing right now they don't actually know the extent of the damage to his shoulder just yet. So let's turn it on to y'all. What does this mean going forward? And what do we plan on seeing with like the vision and the state of the World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, okay, so I was one of those people. I think it was premature. The group has been for 6 months. They just got their name like last month officially. Like it was called Division Online, but it wasn't called Division on TV until like early September or something like that. So to me, it was premature. Even if the injury is significant, I think you could still argue that it's premature. Like they could have did a storyline to where Seth comes back, Division's still a thing, and then they turn him because it's like, well, we did all the successful stuff without you anyway. So were you really even needed? I don't think the turn should have happened. Now that the turn did happen, though, I'm really curious on how this is going to set up Braun Breaker because he picked up the title and whatnot, and we know CM Punk is the number one contender for Saturday Night's Main Event, which is in November or something. I don't know. I feel like you're either they putting the super rocket on him, or you're kind of setting him up to take a random ass loss that is unneeded. And as far as what to do with this title, I'm guessing they're going to do something similar to what happened with Stephanie, Io, and Naomi, and we already know the number one contender. So then it's just find a new number one contender, whether that's a tournament or whether that's another fatal 4-way or whatever. They can do that, I guess. But yeah, I mean, unless Seth is healthy enough to drop the title before then, or healthy enough to drop the title to Punk. But then it's like, why would Heyman want Punk to have the title either? I don't know. I feel like they're in a sticky situation. The best thing to do is probably find have Seth relinquish it and just have another person as a number one contender, and then have CM Punk and whoever that person is just get the title at Saturday Main Event. Yeah.
DT, what you got?
I would have Braun Breaker hold the belt hostage. You would have to pry this belt from my fucking hands. So you got Bronson Reed, you have Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker. If Braun Breaker is the one holding the belt, he should continue to hold the belt. I don't need to fight for it. I'm the biggest dog in the yard. Who's gonna beat me for it? To get to the belt, to even get to have it, you got to get through Bronson Reed. So if they're a heel group, they should do heel tactics. Who cares about winning the belt? Fair and square. Nigga, it's my belt. It was in my group.
Have him be an interim. I can see that. And then you still get the Braun and CM Punk for a Saturday Main Event, and Seth's music can play, and then that's how Punk wins.
Yeah. Jay Uso think it's his turn. LA Knight think it's his turn. Come get the belt. If you really want it that bad, come get it. Ain't no GM gonna stop me. I'm a spirit GM. We gonna start putting GMs through tables. Like, if you're gonna be the heel, you don't need to win the belt. Like, I already got the belt. Come take it from me.
Okay. I like that.
Try
I'm not mad at that.
I only asked because they're down a man. Do you think they add another man? The rumor was,
they already
Austin
have
Theory
a man.
was. Oh yeah, yeah. I see what he did there. I got you. Do they add somebody? Because the rumor was Theory was supposed to join the Vision and whatnot. Do you think they should kind of swap Seth out, add somebody in to still have like that 3-man kind of like thing going on? Especially if Braun is going to be like the head of it, you got to keep him like, not only healthy, but also like he shouldn't be in the mix like that. If he's the big dog holding the championship hostage, like I don't think that he should be like touching the gloves.
To it. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Honestly, they probably maybe add a lady because let's say, I mean, based off of some of Becky's tweets, obviously she's upset that her husband got crossed. So maybe add a lady to make sure that Becky doesn't interfere with their plans, with their vision. Or just another dude. I mean, there's plenty of people to be called up or who are in catering already. So if they wanted to do that.
I wouldn't add Austin Theory. Um, I mean, like it sounds okay, but I wouldn't do that. I think he was at a point where he was getting like babyface reactions because of how Grayson Waller was acting and the shit that they were going through. So I wouldn't um, bring him back as a heel, especially because now you got Ilya, who's back. So they need another person. Do they need another person? If Bronson Reed is built as big as he is, and Braun Breaker is who he's supposed to be or who he's going to be, do they need another person? From a power ranking standpoint, sure, numbers, whatever, but I mean, if you got a fucking kaiju Ozilla running around, you don't. To me, you don't need that.
I only say it just because of how like WWE books and the main event star never fully needs to like be. They don't wrestle like every week, right? So you kind of need that filler spot so that like we still continue to keep momentum while Braun Breaker is doing his thing. And what better way to do that than by adding somebody to the group? And although I do think it would be a bit early, just because we're dealing with like the confliction of Seth being kicked out, like we still have to like figure out like what the hell's going on right now. But maybe in the week or 2 or 3 weeks from now, it's like okay, we added somebody to kind of like next man up kind of thing.
Do it at Survivor Series if you're gonna add somebody to the group.
I like that. I like that.
I would. Hero's probably gonna chuckle. I would turn for the time being. I would turn Braun Breaker into Goldberg.
Might as well.
Like that. Like you're saying he doesn't need to wrestle. I'm saying he needs to pretty much beat people in like 30 seconds. 2 spears, a pin, we're done. Like you don't need to be doing a Breakensteiner. He does like if you're gonna protect the group and protect the belt at this point until you figure out what to do, then he needs to be OP as fuck at this point. He just needs to be OP until you guys figure out a solid plan.
But here's the thing with that, and it's funny that you mentioned the word OP, right? Do you think that what if the next man isn't a Theory, but it's a Brock? There's already a connection. There was a story where Heyman came out and did his entrance and whatnot. So, like, there's still something that you could tie there. Seth wasn't in full control then.
Yeah. And then he doesn't have to be there all the time, but he does feel that third spot. The reason why I kind of think the reason why I'm kind of leaning towards just having someone else be the third spot with Jay's idea is that because like someone got to take the pins, and if Seth is gone, and then Braun is the person that is the OP one, you don't want Reed taking these pins. Because now
exactly
like, all the booking that we did to make Reed that kaiju, then that's gonna you need someone to take some of the pins in these tag matches and shit.
They don't get pinned. Like that's the like. If
you want them to just go on a smashing spree, like they don't.
Even the Bloodline lost regular matches every once in a while.
This ain't the Bloodline. If this is supposed to be the vision and the future of the company and etc., this ain't that. Like if you're gonna make it different, this ain't that. Like
yeah, but it kind of goes against wrestling. Like even Will or Useless gets pinned. Like people, you need someone in the faction to take L's, so that the faction isn't. Like JD Madonna, he's the one that takes L's. Carlito, he's the one that took L's. Like you need someone to take an L at some point. Otherwise, people are going to hate this group and not hate the group for the right reason. They're going to hate the group because they don't want them on TV.
I don't think that'd be fair to Theory. We haven't seen him in like forever. He comes back and he's just the guy taking the pins. I think that's a fucked up position to put Theory into.
And I agree with DT. I don't think it should be Theory either because he was getting those babyface reactions. You don't want to backtrack on that.
All I'm saying is, to me, there's a way you can do it where you build up the credibility of both. The motherfucker just beat Roman Reigns. Like he just beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker's supposed to be the future. Like let them have them go until Survivor Series without needing help. They smashing everybody. They beating everybody up, and then at Survivor you book the match where it looks like they about to lose, and then you bring in their third person, and then that nigga can take the pins through December and January.
The problem with that though is that all the baby faces that they keep smashing, they're going to look weak. LA Knight is going to look weak. Jey Uso will eventually look weak. Punk is not taking a bunch of pins like that. So then what? Like they can only fight jobbers for so long because they're not even they're past fighting jobbers at this point. Because like you said, one beat Roman, one just beat Seth. Like you can't just have Jay and LA Knight and a couple other the big baby faces on Raw just lose for the next month and a half because they already been losing.
True.
Eventually, they're going to start losing their pop because it's like, okay, ooh, Jay Uso's, I get the yeet, cool. I paid the yeet, but I just know this is going to get speared and it's over.
Yeah, and when they lose, it's not going to be. They're going to mix it up to where it's like, okay, one's a pin, one's a DQ finish, and then we just get regurgitating this fucking cycle of like the same shit every fucking week. So like, I get it. I see both sides, but I definitely understand what H is saying here as far as like, we need to still maintain babyface like relevance. Speaking of babyface relevance, Sami Zayn, open challenge for the United States Championship. These have been the banger matches. These ones I haven't been watching any SmackDown, but every once in a while I'll get a text from Hero and he's like, hey, check this out. And I do. 99% of the time, banger fucking matches. Sami Zayn opens the challenge up and we get a return from the one, the only Mr. Ilya Dragunov here, and big pop. Big pop for me. That's I've been waiting for Ilya to come back. Bigger than he was when he left. Definitely swelled up a little bit.
As per usual. Got the throat tat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And side note, I'm not a fan of throat tattoos, bro. I just think they.
I think you need some stuff on the shoulder for the throat tattoo to make sense.
So like, yeah.
Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for a lot of jokes.
A lot of jokes. There's a Trey Rags like TikTok where he's talking about like people get weird shit on like their throat and like tattooed. It's like, oh, so you got dragon throat now. Like that just sound kind of crazy to me. Like,
yeah,
like, oh, you got a elite throat. Nigga got elite tattooed on his neck. Oh, you got a elite throat. Like, nah, we got to do the whole thing here.
Dom got the mysterious face. Like I saw someone's like, oh, Dom got that mysterious throat, huh?
Like that's
you just setting yourself up. But the thing is with Dom, at least he has like a lot of other tattoos. So you don't focus on just that tattoo.
Just that,
but I've seen
yeah.
I've seen it.
Ilya answers the challenge here, and we get a new United States champion here. Which I'm two ways about it, right? I love it, right? Because now we have like spontaneous something. I don't know. We have spontaneity. There you go. With the belts, which is what we want. We didn't want like the belts to be like sitting in like another 6 and 7 months of a reign, and Sami's been building the championship back up. And honestly, Sami doesn't need it anyway because Sami's the main eventer. Sami should be the next Rumble winner. We've been saying that here for a while.
This was a side quest.
Exactly. He didn't need that. And I like that because it puts the mid card back on a person who can benefit from that push, right? However, this is where I have issue with it. No Melo. Right? If we can put Sami in a one-on-one match with Ilya and he can drop the title, we could have done the same thing for Melo, right?
Melo
has proven himself.
Melo has a storyline.
It could have still helped in the storyline, right? Who's to say Ilya needed to get the belt off of just coming back? Am I mad at it? No, that's my guy. But at the same time, maybe that United States Championship match would have helped out the storyline with Miz and Melo and made it more watchable, Like, there's things that you could have still added into that.
They put elements of that in there, which is why when they both came out for the belt, the other one interrupted the other one. So so Melo came out to challenge. I almost said Miz. Melo came out to challenge Sami for the U.S. title. Mm-hmm. Miz jumped him from behind and hit him with shit.
Skull Crusher.
Thank you. Skull Crusher finale. And then the next week or whatever, this is how we ended up getting Ilya was. Miz went to damn, why am I forgetting everybody's name? Miz went to the GM and Aldis and went to Aldis and said, hey, essentially alluding to getting the US championship match. Mm-hmm. He goes out and Mel's like, nah, fuck that. Hits that nigga over the head, they're fighting, and then Ilya comes in. So like it's there.
They're flirting with the idea of it. And honestly, they're probably gonna do Ilya and Melo, which would be a fucking fire match. I just think that's the case for Melo to get over, right? I would love to see him in that reign. That way I can like have just an eye test of like, okay, this was a good idea, or okay, this was a terrible idea. We don't know right now. So I just want to see it happen before we run into a situation where it's too long, right? And there's more people behind the scenes who are coming up. You know, you have the Javon Evans, the Obafimis, like you have all these superstars coming on their way. Melo needs to be in the spotlight sooner than later so that we know that he passes the eye test when it comes to like holding on to like or being a champion at least in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think this Miz feud is going to help with that because Melo he's one of the people sort of like a Tiffany, a lot of people he kind of gravitates towards being a better heel, and I think his first really big main feud, besides the going the 7 matches with Andrade, like this is like one of his first big main feuds, and like now we get to see if he can cut babyface promos and whatnot because he's a small guy, his ceiling is only so high. Not saying he can never be a world heavyweight champion, but in this climate, in this particular ecosystem, the ceiling it's not as high as it might be for some of his as much as his fans want him to be. So this is, to me, I'm looking at this like this is the eye test, but in the sense it was like, can he get that baby face sympathy? Can he garner that baby face reaction? And right now, I think the Miz, I mean, he's goated. He's one of the perfect people to. The promos didn't hit as much, and it's honestly it's similar for Tiffany, which is why Tiffany just, I don't know, she's just a better heel. It goes with her character better. But this is another chance for them to do that, to get this test out, see if he can work, like get the crowd to like care about him.
Miz,
yeah, the live crowd.
Miz is pulling the Becky, but where he's like trying to elevate the talent. However, I just don't think that like Melo is the one that like truly needs the elevation because he's already talented. What you got, DT, before we wrap out?
I was just saying in terms of, I think this, you get to, well, it depends on when they're going to do the draft and all that stuff, but there's a way to get to Melo and Ilya and then bring in Trick up. I think that's a play at the end of it.
Okay. All right. Well, time to get into WrestleDream here. WrestleDream in St. Louis. Quite a different opener for sure, where the tailgate match bled through into the actual pay-per-view to where you have like the whole fireworks and pyro going off within the FTR and Jet Speed match. I do like that. I don't know if that was on purpose. I do like that though.
It was purpose.
Because like we just jumped straight into the action. I didn't watch any of the pre-show, so like, I just jumped right into FTR fighting, which was kind of cool. Dislike the fact that it does make the show a little bit longer because the first match didn't start until after this match happened, and it wasn't a bad match at all. Like FTR and Jet Speed looked really, really fucking good. It's just we're extending time here. We're now at, I think the pay-per-view was like 4:30 or 4 hours and 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And before we start this review, a lot of these shows we could have cut. There's a couple of the matches that we could have definitely like went without, not saying they were bad, but just as far as like storylines that were necessarily needed to be told, I don't think some of these were the best to be like showcased. I do get that there were injuries that kind of like forced you to change, plot lines. I do get that there were superstars who are now got to sit for a little bit that made you change storylines. But we could have done without a couple of these matches, and I'll talk about them as they go.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's kind of fucked up. But post the FTR match, we see that they line up with Tekla and Jamie Hayter as like the opening match here.
Right.
And while I do think that Jamie Hayter's a great wrestler and the match was good, I think the match was actually supposed to be Tekla and Amanada, which they never really like focused on. At least that would have made more sense to me as far as like storylines that were being told since fucking January, or June. I think it was June when the Portland show. Yeah, June. Yeah, this one is the one where like, yeah, talented and great, but we could have sat without this one. I do appreciate the fact that there were 3 women's matches on the card, but still, like, which ones had true storyline like benefits from them?
Well, to me, this one did have storyline benefits because I mean, thank God they had a video package, something that I've always complained about AEW not doing. But I forgot that Thekla was the one when she debuted. She took out Jamie Hayter. And they did have a lot of 8 women tag matches. So I think there was some story there. Now, was it warranted enough to get its own solo? That's subjective. But the other 2 matches were title matches, so. And we always talk about how even when we talk about WWE, we always talk about like how we want women's storylines that aren't around, like that don't surround the title because people need to do stuff. So I would say they should have just cut down the time. It didn't need to be like 25 minutes.
There you go. That was it. That was it. And a lot of these matches.
Every match is a TV show or longer.
A lot of these matches we could have done 5. We could have cut 5 to 10 minutes here. Yeah. I think Tekla has done a wonderful job of getting the fans to recognize who she is as far as like a character wise and her ability to work. I think for one of the women who came from like out of the AEW ecosystem I think she's done a really good job as far as standing out. The match is great. We'll see where they go from here. As we saw that Amanada kind of came out and backed up Hayter, and we saw the Triangle of Madness kind of still there as well. So not a bad match at all. Could have went without 20 minutes. And that sounds crazy because it's we cut the women's matches. Once again, we could have cut a lot of people's matches here. It's not just them.
Not every match needs to be a whole episode of a TV show. And then some, where it's and I'm not saying it should have been 5 minutes either, but we could have got a nice 12.
Yeah, nice. I'll round up. Give me a nice 15, and I'm cool.
Right, sure.
I'm cool. A nice 15, I'm straight. Follow up, we got Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. First time we've seen Jurassic Express as a tag team in a really long time, and I'll come out here and say that chemistry was still there. Them boys, they know how to move. Luchasaurus was more agile than maybe I wasn't paying attention before, but he's doing somersaults and shit like that. And especially after coming off the injury, and dude looks good. He looks really solid. One of the things that were the way they kicked off the Young Bucks entrance with them and their expense report was very entertaining. I do like that.
Love that.
I think that's really cool to kind of see they ain't got no money. I think it was $32.17 that they had in their account. It's so much so that I like the connection that it has with the fans, because the fans are signs of $20 for a picture, or they actually got dollars out on the crowd, and I think that's really cool too. Y'all need some money here, we got $1 for you. Ultimately, I thought this match was great. I think it's typical Young Bucks stuff. I don't think if you look for anything more or less than what they normally do, you kind of got that. And to be honest, I was more so watching Jack and Luchasaurus to kind of see how they perform. And I think that Jack looks great. I think he looks like he's back having fun. And I think that Luchasaurus is also solid.
Yeah, it was a solid match. I would say it's a typical Buck match. There was points where I was like, can we wrap this up? It's I picked up food, ate majority of my food, and then the match is still going on. But yeah, I mean the spots, I don't have anything negative to say other than just the time limit. It was a fun match.
Jack Perry was also dressed like Kraven the Hunter, so he came out with his whole Kraven.
He has a little. Well, he wore that little
satchel.
What do you call it? That knife pouch thing where you put your knife in there, a sheath. Yeah, he wore that the other week too, and I do appreciate that they're not going back to Jungle Boy Jack Perry. It's just Jungle Jack Perry because he is a man now.
Yeah,
baby, he's a man.
It would
baby.
You can't go back to the brown trunks and get on top of this nigga's neck. It's just not going to happen no more. Post match though, we kind of see something really interesting to where the Don Callis family comes out and attacks Luchasaurus and Jack, and the Bucks are just kind of in the mix. They don't really want to do that. And as you can see, it's kind of hesitant. The Don Callis family, I think Josh Alexander in particular was pushing. I think it was Nick Jackson. Yo, y'all not about to get in on this. What the hell's going on here? Enter the Kenny pop. Kenny Omega shows up here, kind of goes to save or kind of equalize the Don Callis family. He looks at the Bucks, is kind of like, yeah, turn around, go help. Like, y'all not gonna like, go help these people out.
You know what they should have did? I would have turned around, got right in the ring, grabbed that damn duffel bag of money, and walked the fuck out. We just won. Why are you leaving the money behind? We just won. What are we doing?
Yeah, I didn't mention this was the $500,000 match. So yes, that was the stipulation here.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, they should definitely went out and stole the money.
Absolutely.
What it looks like is that we're getting a babyface turn for the Bucks sometime. At least that's what they're teasing here. We haven't seen the Elite with Kenny a part of it in probably like 3 years, maybe. I think at least 3 years. Plus, there's a team that kind of turns later on in the show, and we'll kind of talk about that as we get closer to that. But they're teasing the Bucks having no money, having them go back to who they were before, which was just the Elite. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Tornado Trios match, Hurt versus Demand. This I thought was a great match. I think that Hurt has done a lot as far as like elevating the Demand. Because beforehand we had mentioned like nobody cared about Gates Agony. But like with Ricochet a part of the Demand now, they're working with Bobby and them, they're getting way more screen time. We now know them as like a heel team and whatnot. Also on the line here was a number one contendership for the trios titles. I think the dopest spot was Sheldon in that German suplex.
Out the ring.
Bro, I think that shit was actually kind of fucking fire, especially for somebody who was 50, and then he follows it up with the dive out. Like, you 50, bro. Like, we gotta, like, relax. Like, that shit's fucking crazy. Bobby still looks like a goddamn monster, and the more I watched Hurt, the more I realized it's Bobby who doesn't want to take the pin. I think I said it beforehand. It's definitely Bobby.
You just figure this out.
There's no one on that roster who looks like they should pin me. Why would I be getting pinned?
It's fair. Bobby out there looking like a monster. He like
there's no one in this company.
Like
yeah,
you know how cold you gotta be to whoop a nigga's ass in a dress suit and like a button up. He don't even take it off. He just leave it on, sweating through the motherfucker. Like you're not gonna take me seriously enough to where like, hey bro, like you're not gonna fight me correctly. Like you just gonna whoop my ass in dress clothes? It's kind of crazy. I think another dope spot was here. Bobby hit a crazy little dominator on Ricochet. Ricochet is really good at selling as well. There was a spot at the end where it's kind of like the Solo Sikoa at Survivor Series match, where it's like the 3v1, and you're gonna take everybody's like finishers and whatnot. And it's originally Ricochet, but Ricochet gets pulled out by Bishop Khan, and now it's Bishop Khan, and he takes the hits for it. A lot of people were confused by like why he would do that, but it's just a callback to when I believe Ricochet ate a spear for him, like on Collision, like a couple weeks ago. It's just showing that like he took the hit from me last time, I'll take the hit here, and Hurt gets the win here. Thoughts?
MVP should stop wrestling. That was my thought from this whole match.
I will agree with that thought.
I put him, Jericho, Sting. There's one other person I'm thinking. They just need to have an old man off, and they just do that, and then the person that wins is the only one that gets to keep wrestling. Everybody else has to stop wrestling. Just stop. But outside of that, because there was times where it looked like he couldn't take the bump because he had to brace the fall. So he waited till after the spot would happen, and then he would fall. So I was like, all right, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm Gucci. But outside,
I don't like...
Go ahead,
my bad.
No, I was just going to say, outside of that, he was gassed as hell. Like, even when they had the victory pose at the end, he couldn't stand up. You should just be a manager. Just be a manager, my guy. Just be a manager.
To piggyback off of that real quick, I thought this whole feud was setting up for them to get another member to replace MVP based off of like what we've seen. But my biggest complaint is, and this is it's a AEW thing, and we will talk about it later at the main event too, It's just the order of matches. You start with a normal match, you go to a stipulation, and then you're back to a normal match. Or it's like you should build up to the stipulation, and it's just I don't know, because like what's the difference between this fight and the street fight? I mean, not that much different. Not that much different happened. Like little less weapons. So it's just it's just the order of a feud, the match order of a feud just doesn't make any sense to me. But
I agree. Yeah. I agree, because it's like we seen the street fight match happen. If we were gonna do this match, there should have been some kind of like dramatic effect to where like, oh, like MVP got injured in this match or something like that. Something that pushes the storyline a little bit forward here. I do like the fact that they don't hint away from MVP being old, right? He gets jumped all the time. There was a point in this match where he was like, we about to fuck your old ass up. And like they use that to like their storyline advantage and whatnot. But we got to figure out what's going to be the move here. Like, I think hopefully we see the demand maybe like take MVP out or off the shelf or something like that. Like, we need some kind of like dramatic effect to where they catch MVP slipping somehow, some way, and we get that third member, if we're ever going to get that third or fourth member.
They had a third member and hightailed it right through there. So
that member was bigger than the group, unfortunately.
Okay, what are we talking about?
It'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes, but still, that shit would have been hard.
This sounds sexual. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What? MJF, man. MJF.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All I heard was, oh, yeah, they got a member. It was a big member, too. Like, I was lost.
Jesus Christ.
On the Lord's Day, you acting like this? Not like
Jesus, man. The look on his face, he was so like, what are y'all talking about?
Like he wasn't just with the Hurt Syndicate. No, I think
I forgot, bro. It's so long already.
My only thing is who's gonna beat the Hurt Syndicate once they get the trios. Because again,
that's like
they're not gonna be there and not have gold on them. They not. They had the tag belts. They was flirting with the AEW championship for a quick second with MJF. If Samoa Joe really retiring like he say he about to, like, you might as well. Yeah, know what I mean? So my question is, again, who is going to beat them?
I think this first run. My bad, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say they'll probably squash a bunch of people, and then it will end up being the Demand, because the Demand is the only team they will take an L for. So it might be the Demand.
Black Power.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I imagine, based off of what we know about the world title picture and what happens with Samoa Joe and whatnot, I would imagine that they do lose these trios to the Hurt. So I do believe the Hurt will probably win these.
I think that kind of like, I think they will get them. I just don't think they'll get them on this first try here, only because of MVP. He's the outlier. Like, you got to think, when you face against the Ops, it's Joe, Shibata, Hobbs.
Right, but if Hangman what if Hangman cost them?
The babyface cost them the title would be interesting, but it just match wise. Let's say before we get into the Hangman aspect of it, match wise, MVP he doesn't match up against any one of those dudes in any situation here. I think so. Even then, think about it in the situation of a pick and roll. Okay, Shibata rolls out the ring, and now you got to go against Joe and Hobbs. Like,
I would.
Yeah, he's finished. And I think that's going to be the realization for the group, is that we're going to get these trios belts, but MVP can't go. Like, it's been proven. I think Ricochet in the Demand kind of stifles him from getting those belts. That's kind of how I think it goes here, but we'll see.
My only thing with that is then we'll have a fourth match, and it's like
see,
we should split them up a little bit.
It's funny you mention that, right? It's funny you mention that we have a fourth match, because guess what's up next? A goddamn fifth match between Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. Now, anybody knows I love Kyle Fletcher. Great fucking talent. Amazing fucking wrestler. However, we do not need 5 matches between him and Briscoe, 3 of which have been this year alone. Now, chemistry, great. They're killing it. But I've seen him do this several times. And Mark Briscoe could not get over the hump of Kyle Fletcher, right?
Does he look like he can beat Kyle Fletcher?
No, and that's why I said we don't need another match with Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher. It was a fire match.
You could have just stopped at and Kyle Fletcher.
Like,
wow.
Jesus Christ here. Protostar versus Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship. I need another litmus test for Kyle Fletcher. I need to see him go against somebody else, especially coming after the match with Hangman, to where nobody else should be in your stratosphere, especially nobody in the mid-card, and you shouldn't be going 50-50 with Mark Briscoe if you were just on the edge with the champion. This is something that it took me out of it, because I was like, you're struggling with Mark Briscoe, but I just seen you fight the champion last month, right? And you were putting, belt to ass at some point. Why does the Froggy Bow and Kung Fu Redneck here, why is this the issue for you?
Well, to be fair, he is holding a mid-card title.
True. That is true. That is definitely true. It's definitely true. Notes that I have here is the crowd so far was fire. I think the crowd was really into the matches and whatnot up until the last 2. But at that point, it was 11 p.m. for them. And we'll talk about my idea for having earlier start times for all wrestling pay-per-views or promotions. But anywho, crowd was solid. We see that we get there's a powerbomb on the steel steps in here. There's the J Driller on the apron. That was cool. The way that the match finishes, which also was the fuck, was he ends up pushing the ref into Briscoe, does a low blow, right? He has to cheat to get out of Mark Briscoe. I just seen you go head to head with Hangman, and we got to cheat to get out of Mark Briscoe. I need that to make sense to me. But he ends up low blowing Briscoe here, brainbuster, and he eats the first brainbuster. He kicks out the first brainbuster, and then he has to do the super brainbuster, and that's how he gets the win here. But I think this is all overkill for Mark Briscoe per se. And I get that, Mark Briscoe also just won his last match against MJF, so he's looking strong. You want him to look credible. I get that. But, nah.
He shouldn't have kicked out the Brainbuster. It shouldn't take a super Brainbuster to beat him. The cheating, I'm fine with. Heels should cheat, I guess.
Yeah.
But doing a Brainbuster and then a super Brainbuster, you didn't need to kick out.
No. Similar, like the conversation we had, I think the last episode was the super, AA or whatever, and it's you kicked out of it's we don't need that, bro.
The super
Crossroads.
Crossroads is what it was.
Yeah, super Crossroads. Yeah, that was the conversation. It's
Avalanche
we don't
Crossroads. Yeah, we never seen that. What are you talking about? What are we doing?
I don't know what's up next for Kyle Fletcher. I know what's up next for some of the other members in the family, but as far as Kyle Fletcher per se, he needs to fight a baby face that's not Mark Briscoe. Give me somebody in that mid-card realm that can push him to that kind of limit. Otherwise, it's just gonna look like a waste of a push for Kyle Fletcher, and I don't want that to be the case at all.
It's gonna be Orange Cassidy.
Damn, I was literally just gonna say. I was gonna say, what
and
about?
I'm fine with that, right? Because Orange Cassidy's champion, he's in that mid to main event level talent. He's in the Sami Zayn realm. I'm okay with that.
He's not really great at elevating other people because he doesn't really cut promos, and then he is sort of a comedy act. I mean, he can go in the ring, but I wouldn't put him in the reign of a Sami Zayn as far as him elevating another babyface or anything. But I mean, the match will be good. I mean, if that's what we care about.
Actually, that's what we do. It should have been Kenny, because Kenny never got the match against Fletcher because he was the one that got injured. Kenny got injured by Fletcher. It should be Kenny versus Fletcher. But at that point in time, Kenny's either going to lose by interference, and we don't want to see Kenny lose, or Kenny's going to get a mid-card belt. And I don't want to see Kenny get a mid-card belt either. So, there's that.
Yeah. I mean, this was supposed to be hologram.
Yeah, I didn't get injured too. So
I think that's the reason why Mark even had this match. It was originally supposed to be hologram.
That would probably make sense. That would make sense why they went Briscoe fucking
because they're in the same
Fletcher 5.
They're the congregation.
well, in the same group, and also like you had to pivot. Like you lost Hologram, Kenny's not wrestling. You got to pivot to somebody who's available. Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, and then Kenny was set up with Andrade, but he's gone too. So
we're in a realm of Kenny's in the realm of the Don Callis family. That's probably what's going on here.
I mean, he's been in that realm for a couple of years now because he's the one who brought Don Callis to AEW. Yeah. Then Don Callis, turns on him. He leaves for diverticulitis. I fucked that up. And then and then he's been fighting with them on and off since. So it's been at least 2.5 years of the Callis family vortex, as the kids like to say.
Next up is the Women's World Championship match, AEW Women's World Championship match between Toni Storm versus Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander's first title defense, and it's the rubber match for Toni. So, well, kind of, not really. They didn't really have a one-on-one beforehand, but it's in the same realm, I guess. Physical match. They were definitely duking it out pretty solid. It was a very slow start. That was in my notes too, that they start with like the whole technical ring aspect, similar to like the Zack Sabre where it's like holds and shit like that, which I'm a fan of, but just not in the beginning stages of the match. Like I need some kind of like element of like a scrap, a beat down or something to get the energy up. I think the story here is Stat and her ability that she adapted to Toni. There was a dope spot where she plants to kind of like counter the Storm Zero pile driver, which I thought was really dope. That means you're watching your opponent trying to figure out how to like, counter her moves and whatnot. Even telling that moment, Toni didn't know like, well, what the fuck? Like nobody's ever like, done that. And this match in particular, you see Toni's frustrated with Statlander. This is her wall, is Chris Statlander. Like, everybody else she was able to like, run through and whatnot, but now it's like I can't figure out how to like to take you down. There was plenty of like submission holds and whatnot in here. There was the one in particular I'm thinking about was that she was in the middle of the ring, and while she's getting choked out, Toni screams, "Just kill me!" And that's exactly what happens. Stat gets up, Saturday Night Fever, lays her out 1, 2, 3, and is GG's. Not my favorite kind of match. Like still decent, but not like the best. And to be honest, I think a lot of that kind of resonates throughout this pay-per-view just because it just felt a little wonky to me. But yeah, I don't know. What do you got?
That solid women's match. Honestly, I wasn't looking forward to the match as much as I should have been, and the reason why is because I didn't like any of the promos stuff. I didn't like the face-to-face stuff. You go. But the match itself, I don't know, the match itself was good to me. These are two of my favorite women in this particular company, so I think the match itself, like the match was going to be good in my opinion. Regardless, I think this was a nice, safe way to get Toni out of the main title picture for a little bit, because I'm still of the belief that she's going to go after the tag with her friend Mina, which we'll talk about soon. So, and this makes this, whether even if Chris Stat's reign isn't long, she can say, "I beat Toni Storm 1v1, who is easily one of the most dominant AEW Women's champions in AEW Women history." So it's good for the accolade. So yeah, that's kind of all I got for it. I think this should have been before the Monet and Mina match. I think this should have been.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too. Yeah.
So as far as match placement, I don't really. I think that's a slight. But
yeah. I would have reorganized that as well. You anything, DT? Anything you want to
add? Yeah. I mean, I just think that it's kind of what Hero already alluded to, is getting her out of the main title picture. It gives Statlander a win before she ultimately loses to Monet, because that's happening as soon as she beats the TBS title reign holder. So
she did that.
Yeah, that's already.
Yeah, she's already done that.
She passed it?
She broke it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, well then, yeah. So whatever the next pay-per-view is going to be for them, that'll be when she drops the belt to Monet.
Probably the next biggest one. I'm giving it, yeah. I think she loses it before the New Year's.
Yeah, whatever their very next thing is going to be, that's when it's out of here. It's a wrap. So
speaking of that, we'll dive into it. Open challenge for the TBS Championship, which was announced before the pay-per-view. I think it was at the CMLL show.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did it after the she fought stuff Persephone.
It's an open challenge, and to actually even get here, she interrupts, Statlander's like winning moments where she's in the ring, celebrating her win and whatnot. Immediately, CEO entrance music hits, and Mercedes tells Stat to get the hell out of her ring and whatnot, and Stat just walks off. And I was like, I don't really like that. I was like, a
I don't like
champion
that
is
either.
like,
I got the main
ten
belt.
titles. I
Yeah.
got the you got the main belt. Like what?
Your 10
like,
little belts don't equal my big
don't
belt.
mean nothing. And which they do, they rectify that at the end of this next match because Statlander comes back. But it was like, I don't know. She opens the challenge to whoever, and at this point, the speculation online is like, oh my god, who's gonna be this like champion? Who's is it?
Yeah, because she said that
Sayuri
from any company or whatever.
Yeah, so like
all over the world.
expectations are high, right? They're hella high, and out comes Mina, and I'm like, what belt does Mina have? And I was like, the ROH TV title. And she's an interim champion because the real champion is, well, not real champion, but the other champion is Red Velvet, who's out on injury. And I was like, I guess. All right, fuck it. Here we go. We're going to get this 11th belt from the ROH TV title, which is just, no. And I was like, visibly, like, all right, bro. However, this match was fucking fire. And a lot of it's to do with, like, Mina. Like, Mina, like, really went to 11 in this match. So much so that we see that Mercedes resorts to, like, cheating tactics, cheating standards to, like, get this belt. I think she ends up doing the whole, like, using the ropes as leverage to get the win here. So before I get into, like, just my particular, like, with everything, I'll give you the positive. Match was fire. I think that this is a great little rivalry that they could have, for a while. Although I don't think that's the direction they're going with after this match. We kind of can talk about that. But Mina kills it. Mercedes running back. Her second match in under 24 hours is fucking fire too. Gotta be tired of shit, because then I think she is in Canada today. So, like, there's a lot with, like, the travel that she's doing. So I gotta big up, just the worker in her. Yeah, other than that, like, I think that's pretty much, it. I do have, like, spots. I do like the fact they call it Ultima Monet, even though, that's kind of, some people think it's blasphemous or whatever, but I thought that was kind of cool to put that in her title, or not title, but, like, what's, like, entrance card. Post-match, we see that Stat gets her lick back because she interrupts Mercedes' win, comes out, shows her the title. I have the real one that, you should be chasing after, knocks her out, whatnot, and Stat leaves with, like, her music playing. And to kind of, like, tie into that, Mercedes calls out Stat later on that night for Full Gear, which happens in November. She already fought Stat once. Maybe twice.
No, she
twice.
Yeah, either twice or three. Yeah. Two to three
twice.
times for sure. Twice and one.
Now I understand where they're going, and I've wanted to stop a long time ago. I think 10 was, like, cool. I thoroughly don't think she should get it from her at Full Gear. I think that should be the one that eludes her. I think that adds on to the story of this belt collector thing, is that, oh, you get all these belts, but you can't get the one that matters. I think that ties into, like, storyline shit that can be great. Also, I think it'd be great for Stat to get put over by Mercedes. Mercedes hasn't lost since Tony.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, like, her only loss.
They're not including tag, but I don't think she's done that many tag now.
Yes, I think that Stat should definitely retain and be, the one to knock, Mercedes down a little bit. Again, that just be her story. What do y'all have? What's going on? What's the thoughts?
So I think this match, as far as this match shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
I don't think Monet needed an 11th. I don't think that 11th should have came from Mina. I mean, I understand that they needed to take it off of Mina for what I predict will be
It's
Mina
gonna happen.
Tony tag, tag, which is fine. So I guess if it justifies, the ends, then so be it. But I didn't think the match needed to happen. Although, even saying that, though, the match was good. these women have chemistry. It's not their first time seeing them wrestle. And it was good. I agree that. Oh, how about this? I'm very hopeful to everything you just said. I don't think it's going to happen. But if Stat does beat Monet and that is the storyline to where Monet just can't get the main one, I I'd rather have that than the alternative. But I just think I have a hard time believing it. It's one of those things where it's really hard to bet against her. Like I was extremely shocked when Tony beat her, and I will be even more shocked if Stat beats her. I think it would be a good look for Stat, and it would kind of deter some of those selfish rumor, like you're just being selfish, and kind of deter all that negativity that you see online. So we'll see, but I'm I'm not. I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. Like, it's going to be hard to say Monet's not going to win this match at Full Gear.
Okay. It's also very odd to they announced the match like a whole month in advance. I don't think the dates for Full Gear or the venue for Full Gear was announced yet. I haven't seen anything, but to come out immediately out the gate, it was like, yeah, we're going to do this at Full Gear. All right, cool. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was her last match. Was Mercedes Stat at Full Gear last year? So it could be a callback to that. I can't remember for sure, but I think that was the case. Anything, DT?
No, I don't got nothing positive to say. So
fair. All right. Post match, we see that Mina and Tony have this moment backstage where they both say they lost everything, or Tony says she lost everything. She doesn't have anything, and Mina kind of consoles her, said we have each other, which ties into the way I believe Hero was going, was that they're looking at the tag team belts for them. They obviously are already friends. They would be the first interim or inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. It would make sense. There's no heel tag team for the women's side yet that would make the most sense.
Triangle of Badness, but that's a 3.
True,
but there's no women's trio, or is there? I think there's ROH women's trios. I'm not sure.
No.
Oh, there's not.
No.
But we talked about it on a previous episode. They just Tony, you need to have Tony on TV, and this is the easy way to have Tony on TV. And then Mina, I don't know why you wouldn't want Mina on your TV, for skill wise and for appeal wise. So it's a win-win to me. Yeah. Is similar to when you made Sasha and Bayley the inaugural. You want your stars on television. And
it's just a strong opener.
And if they're not on the main, if they're not in the main title picture, when you got to keep Tony away from it, it's just for a little while because she's been so dominant for the last 2 years or whatever. It makes sense.
Yeah. Getting into the World Tag Team Championship match, Bandito versus Okada and Konosuke, and I had a blast with this match. I thought this was fire. It's hard for Konosuke to have a bad match, in my opinion. I think he's one of those ones where he don't really have a lot of drops to me. But they fucking killed this. Even from the aspect of there's in-ring ability and in-ring storytelling that's happening as well, and just regular storytelling between Okada and Konosuke. Even on the side of Brodito with there's promos earlier this month where it was Bandito took fault for losing because of his shoulder injury and whatnot, and Brody's like, hey, you got to pick yourself up. I didn't like necessarily the way Brody screaming at him in the ring to kind of hey, you can do it. It's very Naruto anime-like, and I was like, oh, well, I get
power
what you're
of
doing
friendship, my nigga. What you mean?
Yeah, and maybe I'm just not a friend of that shit, or a fan of that shit, but I was like, all right, sure. And it did lead to a dope-ass spot. The one-armed, fucking, I forgot what his finish is called, but the one arm Jeremy he does, Bandito's freakishly fucking strong, and it was fucking solid. I think one of the bright spots, or a lot of bright spots, is Okada and Konosuke's beef here, and we see the Okada hits Konosuke with a Rainmaker, and instead of the typical oh my god, hit my partner, he fucking flips him off. He's smiling all the way as he's looking at him on the ground, smiles, flips him off, kicks him out the ring, and then of course he's 2-on-1, but it's they don't like each other, and I love that dynamic. I didn't know who was gonna win or who's gonna take the pin in this match either. To also see Okada also eats the pin in here was definitely surprising as well too. But like
It's
they're
surprising, but it was the right call
it
because
was 1000% the right call.
we didn't talk about it, but Konosuke is the IWGP champion,
Yep.
heavyweight champion right now.
Yep. So he's New Japan's heavyweight champion. And that leads to like we're 3 months away. They will wrestle in Japan. It will be Konosuke versus Okada for the IWGP. That's probably where we're going with that here. And I hope that we can kind of like stretch it that far, but it's AEW. And Tony might just do the shit in like Revolution or some shit like that. But I strongly feel like it should be Okada and Konosuke. Thoughts?
I mean, I like 3 out of the 4 men in this ring. I think they all did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Okada is still a walking bottle of propofol to me. The man, he looks like a zombie. Like, but there are moments where he does put in effort, and so I'll give him that. Yeah, solid match. I'm glad that they have the rocking on Brodito, and I do like that. I do like that spot with the attacking your own partner and be like, "Oh no," and then flipping them off. Yeah, man. I'll be surprised if they don't do title for title. Honestly, I hope they don't. But if they do, then I firmly believe that Okada's winning. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Okada. I remember last time Okada's been in Japan. Does he travel with them frequently? Like when they do G1 and all that other stuff?
He hasn't been.
Okay.
Like I think he's been predominantly AEW. So like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, hopefully Konosuke wins. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how far they stretch it. But honestly, phrasing. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be hard to stretch the storyline just based like you hit me with your finisher, you flip me off. I can see the camera.
right.
At some point, Callis is going to have to make the match happen because Callis has no problem with having his family fight each other, like we saw with Fletcher and Konosuke. He's like, it makes the family strong or whatever.
Yeah, I think he did it with Fletcher and Ospreay as well too. He has no problem letting them duke it out.
You can run that spot at least one more time. So just flip it. Have shit.
Flip it.
Konosuke. Yeah.
Do his move, flip him off, and then that just continues to build the tension, and you can stretch it out to get to the 3 months.
Yeah, because also in that time we still need to have a solid babyface turn from Konosuke, right? At least I would hope you would still want to do that, to where we want to do a full babyface thing, and then we get the match in Japan or whatever. And Tony could be like, "Nah, we're not doing this in Japan. We're gonna do this on my show," which would make sense as a business promoter. So yeah, we're gonna see. Bandito's still tag team champions. Yeah. Getting out of that world championship, AEW Men's World Championship, Samoa Joe, Hangman Adam Page, 1v1. Now I was initially kind of confused. I was like, why is the champions not closing the show, right? Like that should be like they should be main eventing the show. The order of the show in general was out of whack. I would highly, agree to that. Especially with knowing how the I Quit match ended, there's no reason that we could have done the I Quit match beforehand and did this. Well, we'll talk about that one particular spot, but yeah. Joe versus Hangman. Once again, the backstory between this was, Joe didn't like the way that Hangman's been operating and walking around. You haven't beat me. There's not a lot of backstory to this. I think this is one of the matches where there's not really too much that would make me think that Joe would be this mad at Hangman.
Yeah, it's
like
check yourself in. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, you disrespected me. It's like, I guess if that's enough for Joe, I guess, but there's not a lot of especially come out the story between Mox and Hangman. There wasn't a lot of story elements here. Nevertheless, still a solid match. I do think Joe got gassed a little bit. I think there was definitely parts of this match where he was feeling it. The stamina meter was blinking.
It should be 25 minutes, bro. He's a veteran. He's seasoned, bro. The match ain't got to be that long all the time.
And most people have great matches against Joe. Not since the match was bad by any means, but it was definitely for me a C plus match.
Yeah,
especially for the world champion.
to go off what you were saying too, is just I didn't like the face to face either
Yep.
because it's like
That promo was good.
Joe's promo was good. Hangman,
Yeah.
if you listen, if every Hangman promo since even before he won, like when he became a full babyface, like he is so complimentary, and it's like, and the way he phrases his words is not like how a normal human talks. And then he has his Batman voice, so it's just like I'm not going to do an impersonation right now, but I will eventually. But like he's so complimentary. He's always giving niggas compliments, and I see myself a lot in you, and you work really hard. And when this match happens, I want you to give me your best. I need you to give me your best because when the bell rings, you're gonna have my best. Like, bro, and it's every opponent. But like, you don't need to compliment everybody.
He's a Goku.
Yeah, bro. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro.
He be letting. I want to see your full power. All right, let's cut the games. Let's really go there.
Yeah, are we done training? But no, but fuck all that, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't. I don't like it. I mean, like sometimes it's like I don't know. Sometimes it's okay, but you can't. He was doing it with Kyle. He did it with Joe, and like it's just I don't know. So I agree with you in that standpoint to where it's like, even though this match, I mean, technically it was only built like 2 weeks ago, it was hard to get that fire to where it's like, yeah, it was hard to believe. Like, damn, Joe, you really that's mad over this one thing? Now Hangman says, I think now he officially says, I beat you, and then now we're gonna I'll let you get to the end, but that's my thing. The match itself was fine.
Yeah, like
It didn't need to be that long. Yeah, it was serviceable. It didn't have to be as long as it was. Just to like not have those moments where you see Joe gas, because like Joe can still go, but Joe he doesn't need to be in. Same way Goldberg doesn't need to be in a 20-minute match. Joe doesn't need to be in a 20-minute match.
To be fair, Joe been tagging. He ain't been doing singles, so like the energy level is different, right? So like when you're tagging us in the apron, like you're not using as much energy. So we're now like this is his first like 1v1 in like a minute, yo. So like I understand why he was gassed, like, but I don't know. We could have. It's hard to say don't put your champion on the main event or on the the pay-per-view, but damn man, we could have went without like this one in particular. I feel like it.
And based on the way it is, to me, it still could have main evented. I mean,
true. I prefer this ending over the main event ending.
Yeah, I mean, it still could have main evented, and I think it should have. I mean, just because it's your world champion. Granted, the other feud has a bigger story. So if we're
true.
WWE does it all the time when it comes to Royal Rumble winners. Like, well, this one has a better story, so this is why they're main eventing or whatever. It's just, yeah.
There's some takeaways. I had some notes here, and one of my takeaways is like Joe's not taking a bump moonsault from nobody. Like he does his gimmick is like the walkway while niggas in the air. I do love that, right? That's fire. Hangman goes for this moonsault a couple times, and the one that he actually gets off, he overshoots him. I think it was on purpose, but like Joe's not taking no bump moonsault. Not happening. Joe also has one of the dopest moves with the whole like I think it's called I forgot what he calls it. But he's in the corner where they run at him. It's like a Uranagi in the corner, and he's like, sit your ass down.
Yeah.
That's just fucking fire to me. And then the finish of the match, it took 3 buckshot lariats to take Joe out, which also proves how sturdy Joe actually is. So I do like that element as well. That shit was fucking fire to me too. Post-match, though, we see that, Hangman puts his hand out, gives Joe praise. They're raising arms in the ring and whatnot. The ops are there. And then the turn happens where we see this is Joe, Shibata, Hobbs just dog walking Hangman, right? Just stomping him out or whatnot. We get this really cool, like, camera shot of Joe in, like, the whole, like, heel turn face where he does. And I thought that was kind of cool. This led me to believe one thing, right? Because earlier we found out that Hurt's going to be fighting them, right? And I was like, well, it makes sense if they did a heel turn because nobody boos Hurt. It's impossible to boo Hurt. So you need a true heel in this element, right? And what better way to have the ops turn into heels? Also, the word ops should be signified with heel tactics. Like, it makes sense. This is course correcting. I'm okay with it. You shouldn't be ops and be baby faces. That just sounds dumb. If you're gonna be ops, be a heel, do heel shit, and be out of there. Also, for mention like hurt, like once again, you can't be a heel and we chant we hurt people every time like they hit the ring. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard for people to boo Joe though too. Like, I mean,
it's true.
With Joe,
no, it's true. One of my other notes was like having the crowd chant "Joe's gonna kill you" to the baby face is crazy, bro. Like you come out, you're the world champion. You are the newly world champion. The crowd's like "Joe's gonna kill you." That's tough, bro. That's a hard way to go out. So we'll see what happens with storyline between Joe and Hangman. I don't think it's done by any means, but we'll see. Main event was the I Quit match.
DT?
Oh, yeah, you got anything you want to say, DT?
Yeah, I think like I'm getting to this point where especially when like the wrestlers are saying they're gonna retire, like I'm just in a space of appreciation. So like whatever they doing in the ring, I'm just like, man, look at you living your dream still. So as far as the ops and the Hurt Syndicate, so now that we've talked about the heel turn, I would love to see the ops jump MVP backstage.
I think that would be the play.
Like whoop that nigga's ass like backstage.
I think that should definitely be the play.
So it's like right before, like it could be some shit like right before the match. MVP is like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom or whatever the fuck, and I'll meet y'all out there or something stupid. So like you can see the plays coming, you can see it's happening. They come out, the crowd chanting whoop de wop, and then Joe and Shibata come out, or Joe and whoever come out, and then you see MVP getting jumped in the bathroom like on the Tron. Like tease the match. The show that way. Yeah, like tease the match. Yeah. Like it's about to happen, but then it don't happen, and then it's MVP getting beat the fuck up. Like I would love to see that.
Yeah, I think that's a solid play. Like, especially because we need y'all to be heels, we need y'all to do something really crazy, like take somebody out, and that also opens up the story for Bobby and them.
Yeah.
Main event: Darby, John Moxley, I Quit match. It's gotten more and more tame, which is crazy. This is way. I thought this was gonna be way worse, bro. Way worse. It was so bad.
What? We got.
No, look.
What?
Look.
He said no. He said that
way worse.
He said that for a reaction. He don't really believe it.
I swear to you, I thought it was gonna be way worse, bro. Like compared to what
we see
I've
him put a
seen Darby
skewer in
do,
his nail, bro. I
see the nigga Darby jump off the ladder into like pure glass.
Yeah, well, that's just stupidity. But a nigga is just drowned on television, bro. We got a fish tank in the middle of a ring. Somewhere, two words that shouldn't exist together.
I was like, I ain't never seen a fish tank in the ring before. And I'm like, what the hell they gonna do here? And I'm so fucking sick, bro. I'm like, piranhas. It's gonna be like leeches or piranhas. That's what's going on here. But then I thought about it. After I thought about it, I was like, nah, we don't want PETA getting in this. We can't have that happen either. And I was like,
if PETA care about leeches,
what are they gonna do here?
Bigger.
Like, what are we gonna do here? And besides the nail fucking skewer thing and the tank, that was it. It was mad tame, bro.
That was it because they've already done a lot of other shit the last 2 years.
They're
running out of ideas, bro. I'm telling you, someone is going to get shot in 2027. I'm telling you, because at this point you've done everything besides fight on top of a moving train.
It was.
I would watch that.
It was like
I would watch that.
I thought it was gonna be really like OD because AEW does OD shit, but like this was fine, bro. Like, okay, yeah, the nail spot was fucking wild, and like he got fucking almost fucking tortured in the tank.
Listen, I just got to say this. I don't think there will ever be a time where I will be a sicko. My stomach turned. Like, I got nauseous watching that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that made a nigga queasy. Like, I needed to go lay down, bro. I don't want to watch that, bro. I don't want to see that, bro.
That ass we did like a playback. Or I'm playing the match before, like in pre-pod, and this man, he looks at the screen like a 75-year-old man. I don't need to see that shit. He raised his hands. Like, he was so old. It was like, God. This shit was so funny.
Can you imagine?
Okay,
eating
so we're
and that's happening in the match, bro. Like, you just fucked off my whole no.
And to keep it a stack, he didn't fucking skewer his finger, but it was implied.
Yes.
That shit is just the thought of it is very like. Ugh. Part of the match here, we see like the finger no bid. We see Darby calls back to the hanging spot of him and Hangman, to where Mox's counter is poking the nigga in the eyes, which was he learned from his mistake as well. We see like Darby gets the upper hand on Mox at one point, starts spraying lighter fluid, and I was like, well, we already did the fire spot, so unless Mox is really gonna be on fire, it's probably not gonna happen. It didn't happen. Death Riders come out to kind of like stop all that. Mox ends up tasering Darby. That happens here, and once again, as DT mentioned pre-pod, had he been tased, he would have pissed himself. So
yeah.
that also did not happen.
Yeah,
heavily implied that he got tased, but yes, once again, didn't happen. Claudio comes out, and it looks like he's about to throw him through the table on, like, you know, the left side of the ring, just a regular wooden table. Not at all. He then military presses a man, walks across, actually not even walks, slight dash across the ring, and tosses Darby at least 10 feet from the ring to the goddamn announce table. Which, A, a lot of trust in Claudio to make that throw. B, super fucking strong to do that. C,
I don't think Darby cares if he made the throw or not. That's how little
this
he
is
cares.
also true. C, completely unnecessary. Did I enjoy seeing it? For sure, but completely unnecessary.
Bro, he treated that nigga like a bag of ice at a picnic. When the ice is still where you don't get the cubes, and you pick the bag of ice up and you just start slamming it on the ground and throwing it everywhere. That's exactly what he did to him, bro. He treated that nigga like a bag of ice. Ridiculous.
It's so I'm like, damn, because Darby hits that table hard as fuck and actually like bounces off. Like it was a pretty fucking brutal spot. We then get Pac dragging him from the table to the table on the left side of the ring. He gets paradigm shift through the table, and at this point, Mox goes in the ring and like he's telling him, or no, he's outside the ring. He's like, hey, he needs to quit. He's too dumb not to quit. Like, he's not gonna do it. Like, you need to call this match off. Talking to the ref, like, hey, call this match. He can't keep taking all this punishment. Like, and at this point, I'm like, is Mox going to say he's gonna quit because he knows Darby can't quit? It's like, I can't keep fucking punishing him like this. That doesn't happen. We then see, or go back. He says, Mox says to the ref and to the crowd, y'all don't care about him. Like, y'all keep enabling him. Y'all don't care about the well-being of Darby because y'all keep, backing him in like his dumb shenanigans.
At this point, as I'm watching, at this point, Mox is a babyface. I'm like, you're right.
He's not wrong.
This is a building full of sickos.
Like, you gotta stop this shit. For the nigga who put a plastic bag over Bryan Danielson to be like, hey, bro, we really gotta like stop this, lets you know how far this nigga Darby's going, which is just fucking crazy. Which, timeout, great promo for Dynamite. The jail cell promo, like, or not jail cell, but I forget what do they call the room? Like,
interrogation? No, it wasn't interrogation.
It was an interrogation room. But it was a dope promo. Like, it was a really well shot promo.
Yeah. It was inside that same.
Yeah, and inside that same promo, he's talking about like Darby's like, oh, this is all about what you did to Bryan, which also is a callback because last year WrestleDream is when he fucking did that shit to Bryan. So there's a tie in there. In that same promo, Darby's like, I would have joined the Death Riders. I understand the mission. I understand what you guys are trying to do. Which is also very telling in that same thing, too, where, like, I get what y'all are trying to accomplish, but you just gone too far. Getting back to the match, though, we then see the Death Riders pull out a tank and buckets of, like, water. And I'm like, well, what the fuck's going on here? And at first, like I said before, piranhas, leeches. Something's going to attach to his face. At this point, I'm like, this is what's going to be, get people to be really upset because they're going to do something fucking crazy.
You were right about that.
No,
You were right about that.
And even then, still wildly tame.
I can't believe that's how far we come. We're drowning.
It is. No,
that's not.
It's true.
That's not.
It's like I've seen some weird shit in AEW. This is tame compared to like. It's fucked up, but it's true. He's drowning Darby in this tank, like full head in the tank, and I'm like, I've never seen this before. Very, very, very fucking weird. I've never seen this before. He's drowning. He pulls him up, telling him to quit. Darby's like, I'm not quitting. Darby's whole face paint's gone. Darby needed to invest in that Jeff Hardy face paint, but like,
he's submerged underwater. It's not sweat.
And that's on top of sweat. Too.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, bro. He need to invest in Jeff Hardy paint.
He's drowning this man in this tank, and Mox is begging him, please, bro, just quit. Like, get the hell out. Like, stop. Pulls him out. He doesn't quit. Throws him back in there. Pulls him out. Mox is frustrated. The fuck? He's not gonna quit. Lights black out. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, nobody's really gonna help Darby. Like, Swerve is gone. Hangman's gone. Kenny's back there watching it all happen, which is kind of crazy, but whatever.
He's fighting a whole other family.
It's true. It's true. And lights pop back on, and it's old man Sting. Sting gets a crazy pop. I love seeing Sting out there. And what's implied here is that he took this bat and beat the hell out of the rest of the Death Riders, because they were nowhere to be found. This old man with his bat put hands and feet to everybody, because the Death Riders were in the ring. And when lights come back on, everybody's like wasted on the outside. He comes in, breaks the tank. So now, this is where the less sicko part of me comes. I was like, hey, bro, this glass. There's a huge shard of glass, like, in the ring. Because he decides to, like, break this goddamn tank. And I'm like, that can't be safe. That's what got me. That's what got me, like, to care. It's like, oh, my God, the glass. Like, why would you do that? Like, fuck the drowning the nigga, but the glass? Like,
not drowning somebody.
We don't want that to be on, we don't want nobody's arm to be sliced up. Breaks the tank. He tosses the bat to Darby. Darby gets his hits off on Mox with the bat, ends up doing the Scorpion Deathlock, and then I forgot Sting's like sharpshooter, but that's what like gets or he raps before that.
Scorpion something.
Scorpion something. I think it is a Scorpion Deathlock. I think the cutter that he does is something else, but Darby wraps the AEW flag around Mox's neck. He's choking him with that, and then he gets him to the Scorpion Deathlock, and that's how like Darby gets Mox to say he quits. The flag, I was kind of confused on like what the fuck, like why did he do that? But when I watched that promo this morning again, he had mentioned that he was going to choke him with the flag and make him say he quits. So that's just a callback to that promo. Mox quits, Darby wins, and match is over. There's no shenanigans afterwards. Like Mox loses and Darby, walks out. Thoughts?
Okay, so besides all the BS shenanigans with the furniture and drowning people and attempted murder and stuff, my problem with this is the order of the feud. Because all right, so first of all, to drown somebody and they don't quit, and then you quit based off of a regular ass submission is not. It doesn't make any sense to me. So it would have made more sense to me if like you keep that same finish, then the next match is the coffin match. That would have made more sense because, I quit, but I'm still here. I'm not dead. Then you have the coffin match. Like that order would have made more sense. So
drown him and then put him in the coffin.
Yeah, something like that. Just anything like just feud order wise. It just does that part doesn't make any sense to me. And then the other part is. We don't hear him say "I quit," it wasn't just a WWE thing, but like old school wise in general, like you would have like the ref have a mic.
Have a mic. The production side of yeah,
and like so not hearing not having that moment. I mean, it might as well just been a submission match at that point. Then if that makes sense, like not having that moment where you can hear it. On big audio, hear Jon Moxley physically say "I quit," that would have hit a lot more. So those are my problems with the match. the match itself, it was a Darby Moxley match. So I will not be more negative than what I feel like I've already been. But yeah, that like I just the order, because to me, is this feud done? Because it doesn't feel like it is, because technically Moxley is still 2-1 against Darby, if not 3-1, because he beat him last year. He beat him to get to Bryanson last year, and then he beat him in the coffin match. And he was like, okay, cool, you made me say I quit, but I'm like, I like, so I'm very, we're gonna have to let it play out, but I'm very curious to see how this is. Is this feud done? Because we seen Moxley get hit with a flamethrower, and he was back that following Wednesday. I'm expecting him to be back this following Wednesday. So now what?
What, Jay? What is the rubber match? What is the match that ends this feud? What is the match that ends this feud?
Dog collar, barbed wire, something of that sort. Which I like. Once again, would I enjoy it? Absolutely, but it doesn't need to go there. Probably not.
You're a different breed. You're a different type.
I'm just telling you how it is, man. I don't know. And to be honest, like, it's very interesting because, like, around Mox and Death Riders, there's shit that's happening, right? It's like Pac is back, and Pac is being the enforcer. Like, he's doing a lot of, like, strong handling shit. They just added Daniel Garcia. It's like, there's elements of the group that's changing, and I don't know if Mox has a clear touch on his group. It's the same way with, like, Seth and the Vision. Like, I think that, like, while there's shit going on and you're obsessing with Darby, something's happening and you're not seeing it. So I don't know what the next match looks like, and I do agree that it's probably not done, because if you want to keep it in the same, like, in the realm of these 3 pay-per-views, they're 1-1, so it's like we gotta, like, finish it somehow. Do I think that Darby needed the win? Absolutely. Do I think that it makes more sense that he got the win at this pay-per-view due to what happened last pay-per-view? Absolutely. Do I think Mox is going to take another L? Probably not. Like, he's just lost against Hangman. He just lost against Darby. A third L within the span of 6 months. Just I don't know. I don't think that makes the most sense. I do think that, like, the show, as far as, like, production, and you were talking about it, to where, like, you needed the mic to be there. I think that there were elements of the show that could have been shot a lot better. I think they missed out on the German spot with Shelton, like, because we only seen the back half of, like, you know, Ricochet go. It was implied that he tossed him out. There's a couple, like, shots in some of the other matches that I kind of said, and this is just me nitpicking and whatnot. And then also this match ended really quickly. I think because they're now on WB, there's a time slot now. You only have a certain allotted, like, time. So for, like, the HBO Max show, you can only go until 9:30. It's a hard cut. So having that earlier match of FTR kind of bleed in, kind of, like, made it to where this back half, it just felt rushed. It felt like it was unfinished. It was like, oh, he choked him out, Scorpion Deathlock, he quits, and credits roll. But yeah, so I don't know. To go back to your original question, I don't know what the next match looks like. Have we done Steel Cage? Like, I think that, like, that could be done. Street Fight wouldn't do it. Like, I don't know, nigga. First, best 2 out of 3. Winner gets the Glock. I don't know. I don't know what's the next.
Winner gets the Glock. It's crazy.
Like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's undetermined right now.
Here's my thing, and I'll ask you this, and it might sound counterintuitive or whatever the case, but how do you get rid of the rest of the Death Riders? Because the cage ain't gonna stop it. We've seen that before.
Kidnapping doesn't work.
Yeah,
putting people in body bags don't work.
So how do you have a one-on-one, a fair one-on-one match between these two people?
You don't. And that's the thing. Like, when I mentioned it last week, I think I was like, oh, the feud that with Claudio turning on Mox would make the most sense, right? As far as, like, Claudio becoming the leader, or Pac, or whoever. Because it has to be done internally. It has to be somebody in the group's like, I don't believe in you anymore, and we're going to take you out, similar to how, like, you know, you took out Danielson. Like, it has to be internal, because otherwise it's a 5v1 every single time. It has to be internal. I just don't know who is going to be the guy to flip that switch.
I think it should be Pac. If I had to choose between Claudio or Pac, I'm going to choose Pac, because Pac can cut a promo.
it does look like he would be the one to do it. He has been heavily involved in a lot of their stuff lately. But yeah, I don't know how you get a fair
My
1v1.
my only thing is real quick is that Pac already took like 2-3 losses since he's returned, so that part kind of sucks. But yeah, if I had to choose, anyway, my vote.
Does Pac still have his hair?
No, he cut this off.
Is he like
What
bald?
are you implying?
Is he all the way bald?
No.
Yeah, okay. As long as he got hair, then yeah, he can be the next one.
This nigga, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Yeah, to give it a rating, to put a stamp on it, for me, it's probably like a 7.5. Like, I think that's being generous for me.
Out of 10? When did we start doing 10 ratings? I thought we always did 5.
Out of 5, 3.
Okay. I actually liked the majority of these matches, except for 2. The main event and the Monet match. So I would probably go like a 3.5. That's just me.
I'll do it too.
Okay. Yeah. Room for improvement. Room for fucking improvement.
I mean, just take away some of these. Take away some of the. You don't have to take away a match, but take away some of the time of some of these matches.
Like collectively, like yeah.
Not every match needs to be 20 minutes.
Just earlier start time. Give me a 12 p.m. start time, and I'm cool. Like a 12 p.m. 4-hour show, cool, we done. 10 a.m., cool. 3 p.m., cool. I'm fine with it. It's just like
I think it's a little hard because of the college football on Saturdays.
It's true.
But you might have to take that bullet because like everyone's staying up until midnight. And that ain't it either.
Because if you're gonna give me long matches, at least push the show back. Like that, I'm fine with that. Like,
you mean forward?
That's cool.
Push it forward, because back would be later.
Yeah, push it forward. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. All right. That was our WrestleDream episode here. Do we have anything you need to get off your chest before we get out of here? Anything that we did not touch?
Like and subscribe. Follow us on all the socials.
Yeah, definitely do that because we back.
Officially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's been a long road later.
We had training camp for 4 weeks, but now
let's wait till DC gets that midnight notification before we.
Yeah, you know what? I like that. Let's just wait because this shit could all go left.
I was really excited too when that shit came through. I was like, I got it.
Yeah, let's just hold off on excitement. We still don't know yet. But all right, we're gonna get out of here. We'll catch you guys in the next one. It's been real. Peace out.
Too sweet, Space Cowboy.